Welcome back, this is Boarding Game Officer. Today we're going to go over the Kickstarter, Dante Inferno. Now I've already done 2 playthroughs with this. Well, I've done the Chronicle phase and the Confrontational phase, so if you want to see those, go ahead and I'll have the links down below. If you want to see the Kickstarter itself, that will also be below. Let's go ahead and jump into the Kickstarter. So we have Dante Inferno. They have already reached 1.3 million USD, and this is just over the 48-hour mark, and only a 10-day campaign, but that's doing not too bad here. They do have a very impressive video here. That is definitely fun to watch. I think their editing was very well done there. But let's go ahead and talk about this Kickstarter. I don't like to do these if I just go through the Kickstarter. I want to make sure that I'm actually adding value to this. So I'm going to put in my little 2 cents that I know more, just because I followed it, not because I have insider information, but just because I followed it quite a bit. So we have Dante Inferno, 1 to 4 player, 180-minute playtime. Now, if you're, as my wife calls me, an uncultured swine, right, and have no idea who Dante and what Dante Inferno is, you're in my club, right? I have never heard of Dante. That is, once again, like I said, I'm uncultured. But so Dante was, and I'm probably getting a lot of this wrong anyways, but he wrote the Divine Comedy, which is 3 states throughout like the hell, perdition, and heaven, basically. So Inferno is like the hell portion where he travels through Inferno or hell, and then he'll go through purgatory, and then he goes up through the heavens. And when he's in hell or Inferno, there are 9 circles of hell that he has to travel through to get to purgatory. So this game is basically going through those 9 levels of hell. So this is going to be a boss battler game. I've seen a lot of people call it a dungeon crawler, which I know a lot of people will call boss battlers dungeon crawlers, but I specifically think that there's a huge difference. A boss battler, you're just slowly whittling down one big boss, whereas a dungeon crawler, you're usually going around killing a lot of little minions, and then maybe a big boss at the end that'll come up. However, let's go ahead and jump into this. This is from Creative Game Studios, who brought you Chronicles of Drunagor Age of Darkness. If you've watched any of my videos, you've definitely seen some of that, because I am way into that game, which really put me interested in this, because I've loved CGS's game, both of their Chronicle expansions and stuff, and so I think CGS is a fantastic company. At least they haven't proved that wrong yet. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here, Dante Inferno. So as I say, it is based on the work of Dante Alighieri back in like Italy, or I don't even know. Sorry, I probably shouldn't even say, because I really don't know. But it is pretty cool. They did actually have someone with a PhD that did his PhD study on Dante. They have him helping with the story and everything. It is not the exact Dante story, but they play it as if Dante is returning to go through all 3 levels again. But he is taking you along this time as the heroes. So it is solo co-op, obviously. Most boss battlers are going to be that way. As you can see, there's English and German. I don't think they have any language other than US right now set. At least at the last update, it was at like 70 or 80% for German. We'll go over that in a little bit. But so here we go. Here's everything you're going to have. Each level of hell is going to have their own box here. You've got your battle confrontation area with, all the different levels. That's something they brought to Chronicles of Drunagor 2, was that 3D terrain, which they're bringing into this even more so, I think. You've got your Chronicle phase cards here. These are going to be your levels that you're going through during the Chronicle phase, which is just like the narrative phase. But you're going to be going through and marching your characters around, and it does say that narrative takes about 30 to 45 minutes, with the showdown or the confrontation phase, the actual boss battle, are taking an hour and a half to 2 hours. 1 to 4 players once again. Here's why they say why back now. Now this is pretty interesting. I mean, they're saying that you're getting 50% off. That's quite steep in the sense of really taking this at a $200 value. I can't say that's not that value, because I really don't know, but it sounds like a lot. Usually when they do this, like, oh hey, like you get a percentage off, it's usually like 15%, 20% cheaper than retail, where 50% seems quite a bit, but I'm not a financial guy. I don't know. But so that's the number one thing, is to get it cheaper now, because not only are you getting the base pledge, but you're also getting all the stretch goals that come with it, essentially for free, except you're paying the shipping for that. So anyways, you got the Explorer pledge, which is just going to be a standee pledge no miniatures, all standee, and everything's going to come with the Coliseum and Charon's Ferry expansion. The Coliseum, as I understand it, is basically going to be a way that you can make it harder. It's going to add some different challenges, upgrade some of the decks to make the decks harder, give you a little bit more obstacles you have to go through, and then Charon's Ferry, I believe, is just going to be the stretch goals. So those two will come in every pledge. Because then you have the Crusaders pledge for an extra $86, which is just going to give you the miniatures. So basically the core box will still be exactly the same. You're just going to get an extra box with all of the miniatures. So you'll have both miniatures and the standees. And then the third and final pledge is going to be the Eternal pledge. For $400, basically it's going to give you, it's basically the all-in, except for sleeves are not included in it, and the foreteller is not included in the Eternal pledge. I want to say that, I'll probably say that again at the end, that there's no sleeves and no foreteller with the Eternal pledge. However, they call it the Eternal pledge because you will have your name written on the inside of the box, everyone that has that pledge, so you are eternally written onto that box. So that's the idea of Eternal pledge, and it kind of goes into the theme as well. Then some other positives of backing it now is to be part of the journey, right? That's one thing that CGS did very well with Chronicles, at least, is they did a lot of feedback and making you feel part of it during the Kickstarter. So I do think they're really good at that. Get it faster, right? You'll get it before the retailers. Anything that has that Creative Game Studio exclusive basically means that it's Kickstarter exclusive. I guess not Gamefound exclusive, right? And then unlock more languages. Basically, they said if they get 900 pledges of a certain language, they will then translate the game into that language. And the only way to tell where they're at with each of those languages is each update they will post where they're at percentage wise for each language. So you just have to keep on top of it. And they did say that you can get a full refund up to 7 days after the Kickstarter or the Gamefound campaign end. Meaning if you're like, hey, I want Italian, but by the end there's no Italian language, and you're like, well, now I don't want it if I can't get an Italian language, you do have a 7-day period to get a full refund. So that kind of saves you like, hey, if you're wanting in a different language, go ahead and back now because you always can back out if that doesn't hit the language threshold. They do have the new stretch goal that Gamefound is doing, so up to 10 installments, which I think everyone has their own opinion about the stretch pay. Can be very helpful for people and also can put people in a financial pinch because they're not realizing how much is actually going down. Love-hate relationship, I guess, that I have with it. And then here's all the rewards that we just went through. We've already got 9 out of 11 stretch goals unlocked here. We're working on a damned pool, which is just going to be like another furniture. We're waiting almost to a new champion, a new outlaw. And so they're doing stretch goals and as well with daily unlocks. So each day is one level of hell, basically. It's a 10-day campaign. So each day they're going to talk about each level, basically. As you can see, we've gotten new champions, new furniture. So we're getting more stuff to place out on the board. So it's not just the pillars and the buildings. There's actually going to be a lot of different furniture that could come out. We're getting more heroes here. As you can see, day 1 was talking about the Coliseum, making it that you can basically make each level a little bit harder. Day 2, they unlocked the Achilles Advance, so this is the way to make Achilles a little bit harder on the second ring or circle of hell. Day 3, this is the Cerberus Advanced. It's coming out. However, it does a new random confrontation. Not sure what that means, actually. That kind of interesting, meaning that you could get a different confrontation, battle someone different. I don't know. All right, then we got the add-ons here. So we got the miniature pack that you could buy by itself, which is no different. It's still $89, so whether you get the base pledge and then add this, or you just get the middle pledge, same thing. This is something that is in the Eternal Pledge, which is the environment miniature pack. So basically all your furniture and everything will be, instead of standees, it'll be more miniatures. Foretiller, as I said, once again, you have to add this to your pledge if you want it. It is not in the Eternal Pledge. Then you've got the Painted Champion pack, which is going to give one more of each character, which I'll kind of explain here. So you're going to have 4 main characters, and they're always going to be an artist, a devotee, a mercenary, and an outlaw. And so this just basically gives you new characters, like a new artist to play as, a new devotee to play as, a new mercenary. Basically, they've done that so when you read the story, it'll just always talk about the mercenary or the devotee or the outlaw. And that kind of makes the story congruent no matter who you're playing. I think that was their idea there. So Tainted Champion gives you one more of each. Pristine Champion pack, once again, gives you one more of each one here. And then Dante Poet champion. This is what, if you backed within the first 48 hours, you got this for free, or you can add this in, which is just basically going to give you a Dante to play as, I guess. Which there must be some special thing because he's not one of the 4, so I'm not sure how you play him or how that pulls in, but that is an added thing to the game. Then they are doing deluxe player board, which does come in the Eternal Pledge, but it looks like those things are slanted right there, so you could easily put them in and out each individual card. You got this that will hold your hand, so you don't have to hold your hand in your hand. You can just play it all out on the field. You've got stuff that holds your equipment there, and then your health with that looks pretty nice to have that health like that. And then it's got the separate one for companions, which are basically your non-full heroes. If you want to play less than 4 heroes, you have to turn some into companions, and this is the little board to play with companions there. And it looks like they interlock here. Okay, so this part here you could use for your companion or full champion, and they interlock together if you play the full champion. If you don't have to interlock it. That's pretty cool. I feel like that's actually for a deluxe version. That's cool. Then we got the deluxe terrain, which is gonna, as you can see, basically make everything look a lot cooler here rather than just be the black plastic. They'll be actually kind of nicer, cool looking stuff. A neoprene mat, which is super cool. I like neoprene mat. Then you have a dice pack. They're all different colors. This is just basically to match the heroes. So essentially, if you're playing multiplayer, you can have a pile of dice for each individual hero. When the base game comes with red, so if you get this comes with 3 more colors. Therefore, you'll have 4 colors that will match each of your heroes. Then you've got the metal tokens upgrade, right, which is self-explanatory. Everyone likes metal tokens, right? And then it does come with an art book. That's got pretty cool. I do think that the art in this game is pretty cool. Once again, showing these here, the foreteller narration is not part of the Eternal Pledge. You will have to add that on no matter what pledge you get. And they actually don't even have the sleeves yet. That'll be part of the pledge manager, which once again, you will need to add those when we get there. So here it talks about how to choose the right pledge, which this is pretty cool, just so you can look straight up, okay, what pledge has what. And as you can see, foreteller, none of them have that. Now it's going to go into the core box contents, which actually, this looks like they actually have a good system for storage here. Knock on wood, right? It's got the player boards in there. Those aren't the deluxe ones, so I don't know if the deluxe boards are going to fit. I would doubt it. But maybe they do still fit on top of each other in there if you take those out. I'm not sure of. But then each box for each level is individual, so that makes it super nice. You're not filling through everything every time. You can just put that box away, pull out the next one, and go with it. I do really like that storage system. Here are your base box champions. You got Ludmilla the artist, Annabelle the devotee, Gadisa the mercenary, and Caden the outlaw. And then here's your champion boards right there, just flat, that you just put your cards on. And then here's other circles of Inferno, showing that each one has its own box. The first level is Limbo, that you'll be battling Minos. The second is Lust, where you'll be fighting Achilles. Third is Gluttony, you'll be fighting the Cerberus. 4 is Avarice, be fighting Pluto. 5th level is Wrath, be fighting the Furies. Level 6 is the Heresy, be fighting the Messiah. That is basically your base game, or the core box picture right there is of the Messiah. 7 is Violence, be fighting the Garyon. Fraud is level 8, fighting the Malabranche. I don't know. Mini looks cool. And then level 9, Treachery, fighting Lucifer himself. And once again, showing the standee and then showing the miniature. And this is one thing I'm not sure of. Where did they get the depiction of Lucifer? Right, this is a very unique with 3 faces. I feel like that means something, which maybe that's how Dante refers to Lucifer in the books that he wrote. Maybe that's how he wrote it or described him. If you know, go ahead and comment down in the comments down below of how they got that, if you know. Like I said, I've never read Dante. I've just kind of read up about it a little bit. And then showing the double-sided game board, you've got the confrontation side, and then up here you have the chronicle side, where you're basically going out through a map. Almost like where this will you be basically going around through a map, flipping cards over, exploring the Inferno there. And then you got the Book of Commandments and the Book of Chronicles. The Book of Commandments is the rule book. I understand they're probably doing that thematically, but when I was doing my playthrough and kind of reading, I kept getting confused of which one the rulebook is. Right? Because when I see Book of Commandments, when I see something like that, I immediately think, okay, that's going to be the adventure book, because it doesn't say rulebook. But then I'm like, oh wait, the other one's Book of Chronicles. Wait, Book of Commandments. Well, it's Commandments tells you what to do. That must be the rulebook. I understand it, but I know I'm slow, right? Whenever I do playtesting, I always say stupid proof, because if I thought or was mistaken or something, I'm stupid, and so it helps them figure figure out the rulebook and stuff, right? Anyways, then we got the 3D terrain, the stackable terrain, the pillars. There's chests that you could open up to get stuff, the palisades and stairs to climb up the different levels there. And then you got all the wound cards, arcana cards, sin cards, finding cards, diligence and providence cards, and then you got your dice, your tokens, and all that fun stuff. And now let's look at the Eternal Pledge. Once again, it's got the base game here, but as you can see, it actually has a single box. So all of those boxes will fit into one single box. Now, this is a good thing and a bad thing. I like it because you don't have to pull out 5 or 6 boxes trying to figure out what you need. One from this box, the other one's from this box, the other one's from this box, right? I like that. Storage-wise, one giant box is harder to store, right? I mean, like over here, you can see those big boxes that don't fit. I just have so many that don't fit in the cubby that they're just up on top there. Where a single box, and then you can put those small boxes behind it on these shelves, makes it a little bit easier, where this makes it a little bit harder, but it makes it easier to table. So I do like it because it makes it easier to table, a little bit harder to store just because it takes up way more room. Overall, I like the idea, but there are some pros and cons. Here you could see how, oh, so this one does keep the deluxe player boards, which because you're getting it within the pledge, so it does store the deluxe ones. So that is actually really cool. It has the miniature box, so it has all the miniatures on there, and then it stores everything individually. So I hope it works out the way it does, because the way that it looks like it will work very well. I just hope it does turn out that way, because I do like it. And so you can see this red part here is going to be the miniature box, basically just a little inside box that has all the miniatures in it. It's gonna have some save trays. These look like they're very similar to the ones from Chronicles of Drunagor, if you've seen those. Just little individual things. You can put all your cards in one little box, and you can hand them out every time you come in. Makes it easier to table in between sessions. And then here where it says your name on the box for the eternities, right? Where you're gonna have on the it looks like it's going to be on the miniature box right there. That's what that is of everyone's names who has the Eternal Pledge. Here's the Colosseum. Oh, the Colosseum, all the daily unlocks are the Colosseum. Gotcha. Which are going to be the upgrading, making it difficult, adding more things to it. But that is all going to be in the Colosseum. Yeah, like I said, it's going to give you new ways to play different, which this new way to play is different than because right now there's, you do the Chronicle phase, then you do the Confrontation phase. The other way is just going straight to battle without doing the Chronicle phase, where this actually gives you another way to do it, and then kind of gives you a more complex or difficult way to play. As you can see, here's the cards that are upgrading to make them even more difficult. And basically each day they're going to upgrade one of the levels of Inferno. Then here's Charon's, the stretch goals as we talked about, where we got new furniture, we got a new mercenary, new furniture ballista. That looks pretty cool actually. A veteran artist. That's another veteran artist as an archer almost looking like. A surprise pole, which is basically another furniture, and then a veteran devotee for now, as we'll hopefully see this go up further here. And now we're going to go through the miniatures real quick. This is because that has been a critique saying that $89 for the miniatures is quite a steep jump from the standee pledge, but this will kind of go through. It's got a lot of large minis in it. It seems like, I mean, not large, gigantic, but nothing like Chronicles of Drunagor Apocalypse stuff. But it is going to have larger ones. As you can see, this 90 millimeter base there for one of those bosses. Champions. Right now it's got the base champions plus 3 extra champion miniatures just from being unlocked. Got the bosses. We have another 50 millimeter base, another 50 millimeter base, another 50 and 25, the 90 at 25. All 25s, another 50 millimeter, 3 more 50 millimeters, another 50 millimeter, a lot more 25 millimeter, 50, 50, and a 90, right? So it's got a lot of larger minis, which I think is where that price point comes from. It's just because we've got a lot of larger ones. So you could take that as you will. Then here's where it kind of goes through the pristine champion pack that comes with those extra champions. Then the tainted champion pack, which comes with these. I'm sure that these names and stuff have something to do with Dante and who's in it, whatnot. I don't know that. I apologize. And then once again, foreteller narration. If I haven't said this yet, you have to add this on there. It's not going to be on the Eternal Pledge. But the voice acting sounds very cool already. So I'm very excited for that. Here's the environment pack showing basically the upgraded miniatures of all the basic stuff. I mean, these are the pillars. Those are awesome pillars. The stairs look cooler. The chests and the palisades, right? So here is kind of showing what miniatures might look like. I think these are the Chronicles Drunagor miniatures. That's what they look like. Basically showing like, hey, these are final production miniatures that we've done. Oh, yep, yeah. It does say Chronicles of Drunagor, right? Saying, hey, these are what we've done. This is kind of the level that we we're doing, but we're still working up what they'll actually look like. But here's some proof that we've done some good work in the past, basically. And then the deluxe train, just showing the buildings. These are called the buildings, but the actual level changes here. But it looks like it's just those, not anything else. And then talking about the player trays, which we've already talked about, metal tokens, the neoprene mat, the dice we've already talked about. Gameplay kind of went over a little bit. As you can see, you kind of go around in the chronicle phase, exploring, figuring out stories, what's happening. The decisions are actually going to matter. If you watch my gameplay, my goal in the middle of the confrontation phase changed due to things that I found out and read in the chronicle phase. So the chronicle phase actually changed how I finished the confrontation phase, and it made it change in the middle of it rather than even starting with it. So that was pretty cool. Definitely a little different than I've seen before. It's very cinematic. I do like how the boss cards have gone. Like you'll do exactly this. He'll pick it up, he'll throw it, he'll throw you, he'll smack you like a baseball bat. Thematically, I really do enjoy that. Dynamic turn with no downtime. No downtime is with quotes. Right? Obviously, you're always going to have some downtime while someone else is doing something. But it's basically saying that there's no turn order in the sense of like Oathsworn, right? You can move, then I can move, right? So like, oh, I need you 2 spaces from me. So how about you move real quick, and then I could do this card because then you're within 2. And then because I did that, now you can go to do another attack, and that attack is actually going to benefit this guy over here, so then he could go, right? That is probably the best part about this game, I think, because that changes a lot, or doesn't even change a lot. It just makes the interaction lots of fun and very fulfilling, I guess. And then this is actually pretty cool. There actually are cards that will do exactly this. They'll be like, knock down one building and put it up over here, or knock down this building and just take it off. And so you can actually change the battlefield throughout the confrontation phase. And then narrative-led character progression. This is one thing that they've talked about. At least in the playtesting that I've done, well, not the playtesting, but even just the playthroughs that I've done, I've not seen any of this because everything is still just that limbo phase. But they do talk about how each individual character is going to grow, and your deck basically is going to increase and change. Your decisions can increase and change. And then this is also very nice, the solo and companion play. Basically, if you don't want to control 4, because you have to play with 4 characters, if you don't want to control 4 full champions, you can flip their card over, and instead of having a whole deck, they have these 3 abilities that they can do, and that's it. So it makes it a little bit easier to play as, so it's not too bad. On my playthrough that I did on my video, I actually played with 3 full characters, and it wasn't too bad. So doing 4 might be okay, actually. Here you go. Here's a lot of the reviews that we've done, or that a lot of people have done. Here's some playthroughs here. Mine is not on here right now. It is in the latest update if you want to check out my video. It is on Tabletop Simulator, which anyone could do this right now. It's on, you could click this and it will take you right to it. You could try it yourself. And if you never used Tabletop Simulator, they actually had this guy teach you how to use this in Tabletop Simulator and how to use everything. So even if you don't know how to use it, you could watch this video and check it out, figure it out. Here is the rulebook. You can check the rulebook to see if you want to. A lot of people like seeing the rulebook. I do wish it was a little bit higher up on this page, just so you don't have to get to the very bottom to check it out. And then you've got some cool pictures here. Minos miniature definitely does look awesome. And the fact that his miniature himself can hold those pillars, which is pretty cool. And then you've got a little bit of the art gallery, and that'll come in that book. And then shipping costs. I hate going through this. Right, you've got the USA, most states, the internal pledge up to $100, which honestly, that's kind of what we're looking at. I mean, 25 kilograms. That's over 50 pounds of game in one box, because it's all fitting in one box, right? And I think it's going to be up towards the $100 just because after stretch goals and everything, you're going to start looking at that heavier box. And so, Explorer pledge, it can be $46, so $100. So $150 for a standing game, not horrible. But that's just for the United States, right? In Canada, probably the cheapest. Other than that, Europe's actually not too bad. That's actually pretty good. Knock on wood and comparatively, right? But so I feel like nowadays these are just shot in the dark guesses. So I look at these very lightly. I usually look at the top end just to prepare myself. But that's just me. And then once again, the localization of info. And then if you want to join on the Discord or BGG or Instagram or Facebook, or if you want to be on their email newsletter, go ahead and go right there. Now, one thing I wanted to do real quick was actually go to the last update to show you here. Here we have the percentages here. So our German is at 80% now, right? So each day they will put it up to the percentage of how close they are to that 900 backers of that language. But once again, they do give you an out because you could get a full refund within 7 days of the campaign ending. So if you want to just try to get those numbers up to get your language, go ahead and do it because you could always back out. There is a Board Game Geek contest giveaway. You could go ahead and join that. And then as you see, there's even more and more videos coming out. Here we go. If you check out this guy, Board Game Officer, I don't know, he's pretty legit. I've heard good things about him. Go ahead and check out his video. Let me know if you guys are planning on backing and what your thoughts, worries, excitements are about this game. Go ahead and put them down in the comments below. I always 100% will comment back. I love to have that communication with you guys. It makes this 10 times funner. I think even if you could say, hey, how stupid I am, it's still great to talk to you guys. And I will see you later.